ViCi Gaming proved too hot to handle for Grayhound on Overpass. Their map pick, and already we're starting to doubt what can be done here. A fantastic performance from ViCi on Overpass, but we spoke about this in the pre-match, right? The fact that Overpass is such a good map for Grayhound. Usually they're very well rounded on it, but they just didn't show up. What the hell went wrong? Because even if they lost, right, I did not expect it to be a losing by that scoreline. That's just baffling to me.
That is baffling. I mean, Overpass, as you said, is a map that Grayhound likes to play a lot. A map they normally have a very great fundamental on. The T side seems to be all right. Where they really thrive, the CT side. The fact of the matter was, though, that the T side this time around was so horrible that they didn't really leave themselves any chances of getting into a rhythm on the CT side. ViCi Gaming playing some of the best Counter-Strike I've seen them play ever. You know, this is not a team that I watch a lot, but what I saw here on CT Overpass, that was very decisive, that was very controlled. It seemed to have a plan. You know, there was even flashes being pop-flashed out of Monster. There was pushes towards A long. They seemed to have a clear plan of how they wanted to disrupt the play of Grayhound. So whatever that comes in to be just pure preparation, or that's just them being good on the fundamentals, I can't really judge. I think this was one of the best games I've seen ViCi play so far.
Absolutely, but yeah, despite the aggression, you had certain moments where Kaze pushing up Fountain all alone against what you should expect to be full eco, and there's no one to back him up. There were moments where little questionable moments here and there, but then again, like you said, majority around the CD side, aggression, but it was controlled, funneled aggression. It wasn't like just running out and, you know, all alone trying to go for frags. And I think that's where Grayhound kind of got caught off guard. They seemed to kind of lose their rhythm, like you mentioned. They didn't know really what to do. Many of the times they're just getting shut down, multiple sprays coming in from ViCi Gaming, and also got just like everyone stepped up, right? Freeman, Kazi, the two usual suspects, but Omen had a great game as well. He was fragging up there with these three guys. Advent in-game leader didn't have to do much. Zoking had his moments as well. Everyone was firing on all cylinders, and if you just look at Grayhound, no one really got going. Sure, we had Dexter like getting a clutch here and there, trying to delay the inevitable, but in the end, it was just not enough.
What really got me going was, as you said, you know, there was a lot of aggression, there was a lot of fundamental great play, but there was also a little bit of passive hold sometimes. They knew when to fall back, they knew when to play the numbers and actually play, you know, some solid fundamental Counter-Strike. That makes me believe that China #1 may actually be a true thing right here.
It certainly could be, right? At least the number 2 is top for this minor. The question is now is, what does Grayhound do going into Mirage? Because we're looking at a ViCi that certainly hasn't looked like any iteration of ViCi we saw across this minor.
They completely forget that they just played the first map Overpass here. This could be the case of them not waking up at all, as we saw with Renegades yesterday. This could be the case of them feeling the pressure getting to them, right? This is a match where they're coming in, they're playing for a major spot, they're playing to get the stickers, and they know they're the favorites. They're playing a team from China. They don't know too much about a team that is not rated that high, you know, by anyone actually, but a team that is actually showing up right now. So they forget everything about map 1. They go into map 2 and they start to play their game. I don't want to see them play scared. I don't want to see them move away from what we've seen from them do so far on Mirage during this tournament. If they play up to their A game and if they find their groove, find their rhythm, I believe they can make it competitive, and it should go to a 3 map as well.
Yeah, absolutely. If you look at Mirage, it is a map they play against Renegades as well. They know what to do on this map, right? The same thing with Overpass. We were talking about this. They're just playing with Overpass. They were like, we're comfortable in Overpass. We're the better team here. Even though ViCi can play it, we are the better team. Didn't quite pan out that way. Like, I completely agree with you. Forget it. These guys have in these scenarios multiple times. Remember yesterday on Cash, they were down 15-6 and they grinded all the way back to 13 rounds. They have what it takes. I think you just forget about it, like you mentioned, and just like start afresh. I think they still are the favorites here.
The problem is, though, Mirage is another map where, especially on the CT side, you can be super aggressive. You can do some B pushes with an AVP, for an example, try to gain control over that area. A lot of mid plays, a lot of mid contestants, so to speak. And you can also push into A apps or push down slope or flash them down there. There's a lot of stuff to be done on the CT side. So if I were ViCi Gaming, I would not stop, you know. I would play into the mind games here, maybe play a little bit passive in the beginning, make Grayhound second doubt themselves, and then come in with the full aggression, with the flashes and with the team play we saw them have on Overpass. Now, the fact of the matter is, ViCi Gaming have shown us they can play some solid fundamental Counter-Strike. So they should not move away from that at all. They should remind themselves of what they just did here is one of the greatest performances we've ever done. Let's keep continuing. Let's keep communicating. Let's keep flashing for each other. And let's keep rattling out these Aussie boys right now.
Now, we've got to look at this really and just say, could this be the end right now? Could this be a 2-0 for ViCi that most people would have never predicted? Real quick, guys.
Yeah, here's the thing. Even though I still think Grayhound are favorites here, I would not be too surprised if ViCi just closes out, because Mirage is a map that they are very comfortable on. Kaze with it AWP, or sometimes with that age, with the AUG of his towards CD spawn, for example, he can just be a nuisance. At A bomb site could be a problem. And also the aggression coming out from these guys, the Kaze he'll be towards CD spawn, he'll be towards mid. That AWP of his is a deadly force indeed on this particular map. And we saw him going off an overpass, right? It's going to be a problem for them. We need all the star players in Grayhound to really step it up. This is going to be a fist fight. Let's be honest.
I definitely agree. And I mean, we have two players right now who are playing at their absolute best. Casey and Freeman, we talked about it already. He's backed up by Oman as well, who's playing super, super well. So we have three players right now from ViCi Gaming who's playing some of the best Counter-Strike individually they've ever played. So for them to stop that, for Grayhound to stop that, they need to be playing as a team. They need to not give them too much space to sort of like unfold as an individual in that regard. And it's going to be a big task for them to stop it, especially on a map like Mirage that offers a lot of possibilities for individuals to go off.
Oh, yes. Well, let's see which individuals do go off in this next game. It's Mirage coming up, and it's do or die for Grayhound. This could be the end of their road. They need to fight back with full force. We're going back to the troublesome duo of Hugo and Harry.
Thank you very much, James. Mirage, that is the map that we're about to head into. Grayhound Gaming versus ViCi. And we already see ViCi sitting 1-0 up in this series right now. Mirage has been a very comfortable map for this ViCi Gaming squad. It's one that they've been able to take versus any opponent they've played it against thus far. Will that streak finally end here with Grayhound, or will we see ViCi take the 2-0, moving Grayhound down into that minor playoffs?
Well, at least in this pistol, Harry, it's looking good for Grayhound. What a stack to start off. 4 players up on B, and even Apartment's aggression as ViCi set up for the execute. There's a 1-for-1 Urkaz in the corner. They should have checked it. They knew he was there, but he's going to get away with a single kill before they drop onto the site. Now the third player and the fourth are going to be a surprise, but the corners are checked. ViCi leave no spot unchecked as they get complete control of this B site. Dexter's now coming back in for a 1-on-3, and while he's found the first, this is surely undoable.
Oh, we've said Dexter's been a man who always steps up in the clutch, but that will get stripped away from him there. Zoking in with 4. And I mean, ViCi doing a great job of clearing that B bomb site. They check all the angles, all the kills come through. They spot the first 2 players, they find them. And I was expecting, you know, once you've killed 2 guys at B, normally you're like, okay, that should be the B players. Now, makes sense to keep checking your corners, you want to be methodical. But to go and check, you know, even the little boost inside of the bomb site, right? That's something that we so often see catch teams off guard, especially if a couple of kills have come through early on.
Like, that's the thing. That's a great pistol round for Grayhound. It's a nice read. It's a strong setup, and they still get wrecked. That's just a testament to the level of ViCi right now. Now, good setup in middle from Grayhound, showing 5 players in the window, but they've rotated back after killing Orman to the wrong site. ViCi were already quick into B, and they've taken the round by storm. So a man down won't make a difference here as that bomb plant comes in, and Grayhound have very little chance of winning it. Now, ViCi should not be giving them kills here, knowing you're going to get multi-peaks coming through from these pistols. They are at least dealing with it. Soking's had a great start to the map, already 6 kills deep in just a couple of rounds. And Freeman, he needs a little bit of assistance from the man himself. So Malta getting 1 with the UMP in the back of the apartments. It's a bit worrying. Freeman's going to get pressured as well. 7 points of health. The pistol's out. Dink to 4. Freeman wins the fight with a Glock, and Soking, he's going to have the cover of the site. Very, very, very worrying there for ViCi. Grayhound get a lot off with those USPs. So, you know, nice round where they actually get 4 kills. But here's the buy, Harry, and here's where the reset could come back to haunt ViCi after losing all those players.
Oh, a tactical timeout called in for ViCi. And yeah, they win that round, but you understand now why they've called this tactical pause. It was hardly the cleanest, and that was only versus the USPs. Now, what would be even more devastating if you are Grayhound? You do so much damage there, you don't allow ViCi to build up money, right? You've kept them down in the dumps, you've set yourself up nicely to find something here, and potentially, you know, look to tie things up 2-2. If you're able to do that much damage with the USPs and then just get wrecked in this first buy round, that is heartbreaking. So let's see what they can do. You've got the AWP out on Sterling, rifles across the board. They've poised themselves in a very good position to chain together a couple of rounds if they pick this up, thanks to all those USP kills in the round prior. ViCi buying up. You can see very restricted in terms of what they can get. Just going to be this fast A play. They barrel on in, setting a very blistering pace early on. Grayhound's certainly not ready for it. Now the smokes pop, and that will hold off the man over towards jungle. Advent looking to get this bomb down, and they will be afforded the bomb plant. A 5-on-5 retake ensues with ViCi having plenty of time. 3 players going to duck out of the bomb site and head down toward ramp. Now, there's plenty of utility left for Grayhound. But you take a look at this with Freeman and Orman, the double Muns, going on this flank all the way through mid. This is so tricky for Grayhound.
Yeah, that bomb's already halfway gone as well. They need to get on the defuse with no kit. 2 kills already being found from ViCi. The fast flank is in play, and Freeman is just flexing on them on the A site. 3 rounds for ViCi, and not a single death in that post plant either. I mean, Grayhound coming in with no kit on the retake was certainly going to make things difficult, but boy, they did not expect that. What a clean round from ViCi. And the crazy thing is, Harry, we've seen such dominant T-sides from this team on Mirage consistently throughout this event. They've been taking 7-8 round T-sides every single time.
So one of the things is Asian CS always has this reputation of, like, they just do things that are crazy, right? And I think, you know, you look at some of the other, like, look at Tyloo. You recall there's been games. Do you remember that one? I think they were versus FaZe on Mirage, and they just throw the bomb out of the window in apartments into the bomb site, and it's like, what even is that? But when you see stuff like that, it's like, you know, that is just objectively like just the wrong decision, you know, like, that's never a good idea. Whereas all the stuff we're seeing from ViCi, it's stuff we haven't seen, which makes it very unique. But a lot of the ideas and the way they play out is still very structured, very methodical Counter-Strike.
And even if it's not necessarily objectively right or wrong, if it's something new that a team can't adapt to or can't even expect, then that's very hard to deal with, right? You're used to playing a typical way or a typical form of Counter-Strike, and when ViCi starts throwing that, you know, up into the air, that certainly makes your games harder. But yeah, ViCi have been really, really stunning this event. And to be honest, I didn't expect them to be so good in this best of 3. But a map up, about to be 4-0, this is looking good. The issue is they've lost 1 more player on this A site, so it's down to a 2-on-2. Rat Brown through the jungle, going to be making some noise. Now Freeman might be able to hear this push up, but it doesn't matter if you can hear it. When Urkos hits a shot like that, Kaze now last man alive, and he doesn't know that Dick Stacey's dropped down into middle, so great position from Dick Stacey. Urkos doubling back as well, and oh dear, what a shot from Urkos. This is someone we wanted to step up here in this second map. He had a great performance back in the previous, but didn't really mean much when they got absolutely owned on Overpass. So Urkos really starting things off strong here on Mirage.
And very worrying that once more it's with the pistols Grayhound are able to do all this damage. Only this time it does lead to a round. It does lead to something. Urkos, as you say, doing a stellar job of getting away with far more than he ever should have been allowed to. Grayhound going to be on the board with 1 now as they do grace our scoreboard. We need to see more from them. Sterling has the AWP, but a missed shot down mid, and ViCi now looking to contend for this portion of the map. Now, critically, we don't have the AWP on Kaze. This is something that ViCi have always made a point of prioritizing throughout their T-sides. They love the challenge for mid. But they haven't had the money in these last few rounds, and that's as a result. Still, you're still feeling the impact of how close that USP round was in the second, if you're ViCi.
Smoke in the window allows for this boost here. And ViCi love doing this. Not necessarily throwing someone inside the window, but just on the edge, on that little porch. The issue is Urkos is going to have a favorable angle towards this gunfight, you would assume, unless Orman catches the timing, but he's focused up on short. He might have just spotted Urkos there. Definitely looks like he's very trained in on this angle, and Urkos, oh, he's going to walk into it with the timing. Orman looks away. He's going to have to drop off. Doesn't want to get caught there and give a pick away to Grayhound. Now 40 seconds as that smoke hits the deck down in Palace. Malta's going to be playing around it. This is really throwing a spanner in the works for ViCi. They are going to go in aggressive nonetheless, but Malta backing off into the Palace here. He could catch Freeman off guard, but only getting the damage off. Freeman finds a kill. The A-side player dropping the bomb as Dexter catches 2 on the cross, and there's only 20 seconds left for ViCi to get this plant in. Urkos rotating back through the connector, and that will seal the round's fate. Surely Freeman will not be given this plant, and Urkos with another 3-piece to win Grayhound a round. Great work from him, and Grayhound are starting to find their footing here in map number 2.
They most certainly are. ViCi in an unfamiliar spot, gonna have to take an eco here. They're not too used to feeling like they're on the back foot. We just saw a dominant 16-6 victory over on Overpass. That was with a 12-3 half in their favor. But money has run out here on Mirage for ViCi. So it will just be these pistols. Deagle out for Freeman, but the rest of the gang keeping it vanilla. And there is Sterling, already able to open up over in mid, repels ViCi from this portion of the map. Now Freeman has snuck out. Urquhart's going to hear these players down in lower tunnels. Nice and easy for Dexter. Very easy for Dexter. Advent, 1-on-5. Nothing's happening here. It shouldn't, but it might. Because that's ViCi for you.
Yeah.
Not versus Urquhart. He doesn't give this up.
Now equal up though. 3-3 for Grayhound. Now, obviously with them losing their map pick, this is definitely going to be scary considering how good ViCi have been on this map, and we're going to see the full front of that with the buy round coming through. Now, no AWP again for ViCi. So Sterling is going to be a real point of contention here for this T side. Let's see what they're going to bring into this rifle round though for ViCi. Their T side back on overpass. I mean, we just saw it. It was, while short, stunning. It was the 12-round CT side that really pushed them into the lead. Malta getting aggressive up on the ramp early on. Now Zoking's holding in from this position. So, well, the SMG is dangerous up close. ViCi just have so many players able to trade. Malta, he wants a little bit more though. He's going to go all the way down. Luckily enough, ViCi just backed off around the corner. So Malta, he gets misinformation that this part of the map is clear. This keeps those players down on B. And Malta, he should work out sooner or later that this is going to be the A execute with ViCi moving in to set up utility. Zoking doing exactly that. Smokes for the cross here towards jungle and stairs, and Zoking flashing his way through, knowing that there was at one point a man down close. Now Malta's up by the palace, and he's found himself one. Dexter again, a spray down from him. He's looking so good on this A site. 3 kills from Dexter. The Dexter we know and love in this map now, as Advent's left alone. The smoke gives him the room to try and take this fight to the site, but the flash with the CT spawn might just be his demise. Advent pressure from too many positions at once, and Grayhound will take it away. 4 kills from Dexter there.
And this is the thing, this is what we were missing from Overpass. We didn't really have that man we could look to step up over on the side of Grayhound. Now, we see Urquhart, the man who has been the top performer for the team at this event, showing up, and quite crucially, Dexter finding his footing to boot. So now, sitting 1 round up, for the first time in this series, Grayhound find themselves in the lead and on the map pick of ViCi while they're sitting 0-1 down. Oh, how the tides may have turned, as it is this eco once more over on the side of ViCi Gaming. They have control out in middle. Freeman was there. You can see that nade onto Zoking, going to find a boatload of damage, tags him up, and I'll just work to soften up this B play. Freeman, he's so good at finding space, so confident as he pushes up through connector. The rest of the players of ViCi trying to secure this B bomb site, but Urquhart's been a reoccurring nightmare for ViCi over at short. They have been able to mop him up, and uh-oh, everybody's falling. This flank from Freeman yields 2 kills, and now the pressure's on for Sterling in this 1v3. Only 2 players inside of this bomb site, so Sterling, for the time being, at least, he only has to deal with 2. Spots the man over at short, but his first trying to deal with Zoking. Here's the footstep, and is aware that this flank's coming in, but time ticking down, and ViCi will cement a 4th round on the back of that eco. It all falls apart as the flank from Freeman proves to be too much to handle.
Sterling gets timed there twice going back in for the retake. That's unfortunate. I'm surprised he even gets away with 1 kill with that man on shore. A good patience to play for the clutch rather than just the one fight, because if he shoots off a bullet initially upon spotting that guy up on the archway, he's going to get repeat. So he tries to get to a safer position and unfortunately isn't able to close it out. Now it's ViCi winning a round where they didn't even fully invest. And as a result, we've finally got Kaze on this AWP, Harry. Something we've been waiting for. Up in the palace he plays, Sterling down in the connector. So we could see this battle upon the A site. As ViCi do set up deep in middle with this underpass control, and 1 man towards the top of middle, that's Advent. So ViCi definitely do want to end this round in the A bomb site, and we may have the AWP fight through palace as well. Kaze almost peeking into the site. Sterling there, and he will. Sterling getting away with that frag. And the boost up in window is going to be very well timed indeed. ViCi have no one to stop them here, and as I say that, Sterling rotates back into this window room, so flash to middle keeps these T's at bay. And Zoking, while he almost had a trade there taking down Dexter, he will just get out of the connector in time.
This boost from Orman is something that we've seen ViCi like to throw in. Allows him just to try and keep pressure on middle and leaves the opportunity to duck into the window open. Dexter's there, and who spots who first? Dexter will be able to open things up in middle. That is one prong of this offensive god. The flanker dealt with, and now Dick Stacey and Urkast just have to hold their ground, and Urkast going to do far more than that. Grayhound answering straight back, cementing a fifth and not allowing ViCi to build back into the lead here.
Yeah, and that's actually a reset to ViCi, despite them winning the pistol round, though. So they do still have a skew if money situation with ranging from 1 to 7,000. They will be able to buy up somewhat here if you are ViCi, but that's why they called in this tactical timeout. Grayhound on the other side of things, definitely starting to look a little more warmed up into the second map of the series. I think it makes a big difference that ViCi is starting on the T side here as well. Because, you know, once you take that 12-3 half on the CT side of Overpass, it's very hard mentally to reset and get back into that game. Combined with the fact that ViCi just kept pushing, kept getting aggressive on the CT side, and Grayhound just didn't seem prepared for the pace being set. 5-4, ViCi choosing to at least invest for now. Sterling did win his orbital in the previous round as well, and that's something that was not too consistently shown back in the previous map, so does bode well for Grayhound as the money going to be in for ViCi. 2 AKs, the AWP dropped over for Kaze. Advent's just playing Glock. Oh no, he's got a CZ, he's fine. And Sterling at least back to the window, but ViCi going for this A execute here. They have one utility-less player faking that B site with a couple of flashbangs. Other than that, looking to keep these B players in position while the rest of the team go for the full A execute. And off the back of that pick from Kaze with the AWP, this is now looking ripe for the taking.
Malta will peek on the back of that flash. And admittedly, you're going to get traded straight away, but Freeman is quite the scalp to take if you are Malta in that situation there. Does well to manage one. Dick Stacey is in with another. Urkast in CT, spots the man under Palace, and Zoking tries to plant in that smoke there, and that's going to be his demise. Sterling on the other side of jungle lands the flick onto Orman as they challenge him, and this leaves Kaze, a man already with 2 kills to his name. Up in hand, he needs the 4K if he wants to cement this round for ViCi. It was a good start. They had the man advantage, they had the bomb site, but Grayhound, they've ground them down. They've slowed this up. Now they leave Kaze in the clutch situation. Grayhound starting to fall off. Maybe anticipating that this could be the B play, and in the backs of their minds, they might be worried that he's already crossed. Missed shot from Kaze, and now they know his whereabouts. 20 seconds. Molotov gonna go in. Kaze attempting to run by, and he will get past, so the bomb can go down here. He's gonna have time to pick his plant spot as well, and it's planted for the apartments, so that's likely where we see him head to. Kaze gonna hop up into apps, and now he can just look to play off the bomb, use it to his advantage. No utility left on Grayhound. Kaze's gonna hear these footsteps, knows that both these players are here, and oh my goodness! What is that shot? Dick Stacey able to delete him. Oh, it comes down to the wire though. That is not a comfortable victory for Grayhound by any means. 6-4. Ooh. Ooh, these rounds coming down to the wire every time, Hugo.
Yeah, the 1v1s, multiple clutch situations. Grayhound seem to be good at shutting it down, though, and nice of them to at least be able to trade off the back of each other, pushing fast up catwalk. There was just no way that Kaze was going to be able to get that trade, peeking straight back into Dick Stacey. Already on the angle. What a shot that was. So 6-4, ViCi's force buy, I guess you could say, doesn't really work out, and that was with a mixed bag anyway, so they're back to pistols. Seemingly know and love these weapons at this point into the map because they have not been able to get a foothold over the economy on the T side. Dick Stacey, he's getting aggressive in the apartments as well. Pushed up very deep with the M4. Urkast gonna try and challenge middle because he's got that AWP and connector supporting his top mid. Just misses the timing of the Kaze, who will back off, and oh dear, Freeman's just come out from behind the boxes. Now Sterling didn't know he already crossed, so the timing play catches out Urkast taking the mid control. Dex has fallen back inside of the connector as well. Sterling has swapped out to watch the Palace. Right now, this is just giving room in middle for ViCi to play. And Dick Stacy, the only man here on B, he's going to have to deal with a full-on push coming through. The flashbang is so good, and he's so blind, but so are ViCi. They can't get this kill. The pistol's out, and he takes down 2 before the trade is there. The only issue is Freeman is already committed within the bomb site, and he's going to hit all these rotations through the market. Malta's timing is caught out as he looks the wrong way, and that bomb plant is cancelled, but we still have this flank. Freeman from behind, but he only finds a single kill. That would have worked if Grayhound didn't immediately pressure the bomb site, but they ran on in before the bomb plant could come down. 3 kills from Sterling with the AWP, and Grayhound will make it work. That was certainly a round that really came down to those small details, like the timing of the push into the market, but ViCi just a few seconds off potentially even winning that round.
Still, it feels like there's been a real switch up in momentum here between these two teams. You know, we saw ViCi explode into this map. Things were looking good as they took that early 3-0 lead, and it was ever since Urcast managed that triple kill with just the 5-7 to cement Grayhound their first round that we've seen them realize that this ViCi squad, you know, isn't invulnerable. Oh. Hey, down in towards mid, finds some good early damage onto Advent and Zoking. That's important. You look at all the M4s over on the CT side. Now let's soften these 2 players up so they can just get dropped in 1 shot to the head. Makes the M4 effectively as strong as the AK. And ViCi, while they do have this foothold at the top of middle, they haven't aggressed any further than that. Dexter gonna show them why as he finds the double down here in connector. Malta tagged down low from CT. Dexter just gonna keep on finding kills, and Kaze dealt with at the very end. Grayhound an 8th to their name. I mentioned how ViCi, this has been the map that in every series they've opted to play it on, they have been able to take off of these teams.
And very strong T-sides as well, but right now that's what's crumbling below them. 4 rounds here to sit on. Not, you know, over by any means, but we're reaching the end of the half, and they definitely haven't looked in control of it. As you mentioned, I mean, having 1 rifle round under their belt since that first 3 start. So, let's see if they can recover, if Grayhound will keep on keeping on the CT side. The AWP back in the spawn here. And ViCi, they have 2 smokes, but this is typically, you're going to see the stairs and jungle smoke leaving CT open, and they don't even have a Molotov for it. So Sterling's going to be in a great position to deny this bomb plant potentially. Malta dropping the Palace players, and he finds 2. There's Sterling picking up 1 from the back of the site as well. And yeah, this is just a complete lockdown for Grayhound. The utility not being placed in the right positions for ViCi. But that's the first time Sterling's played the spawn, so maybe not expecting that. 9-4 for Grayhound. They deal with the pistols very quickly. And ViCi coming back in with the buy. They do have the money for the AWP. But not going for it.
That's a curious decision. So likely going to see something a little bit faster out from this ViCi roster. Now, I was pretty sure of this, but I wanted to make sure before I said it. ViCi, they've played Mirage in every best of 3 series here at the Asia Minor, and they are undefeated on this map.
Yeah.
So Grayhound, what a time to finally break the streak for ViCi if they manage to get it done. Things are looking good for that to happen here. Now, obviously, ViCi still have their CT side ahead of them. There's still very much time for this to turn around. Grayhound have been looking good in this last couple for the CT side. Urcast boosted up over towards short, able to drop Advent. Now ViCi, a man down once again. Zoking going to try and push up through connector, but there are players on short to keep an eye on this fact. He's gone up and through that smoke, and Dexter has to be a little bit worried here. He loses Malta over in CT, so he just has to fall out from jungle. Now holding, passively waiting for them to try and push into his territory. Bombs down, a 4-on-4, probably one of the best situations we've seen ViCi in quite some time. Do Grayhound have it in them to get back into this bomb site?
The issue is they still have mid locked down now. Sterling is up on the catwalk, but he's struggling to get a line of sight to Kaze, meaning his rotate will take so much time. Dex has killed the man in jungle. Orman's been picked up as well, but we still have this connector, or he had it at least. Zoking alone, and a jumping shot from Dick Stacy will finish off the half, or at least the round rather. 10 to Grayhound. And what a clean retake there. ViCi's crossfire is not working out for them at all. And Grayhound, they just seem very aware of every position being played by those Ts. So 10 rounds on the half so far. Grayhound have really done a 180 on this series that looked to be, what could have been a very fast 2-0, as you said, given the history of ViCi on this map. And it was mentioned this map pool was kind of under question for ViCi, considering they have only, well, at least prior to this series, played 3 maps the entire Asian Minor, that being Inferno, Mirage, and Train. So for a for a fourth map to come through Overpass, them winning it, and then a 5th being Dust 2, a map that they've never been recorded as playing in officials, as what could be the final map of this series, this sets an interesting tone for the ViCi squad. Sterling's on the auto sniper and he's up in the B market. ViCi setting up for one of these fast executes now. This typically works out for them, but there's so many players here for Grayhound. A 1 for 2 coming through, and Dick Stacey dropping the bomb. He is looking on fire right now on the CT side. Freeman is all that remains, and well, he's had a great game so far. This is going to be a little bit too much to ask, especially with Dexter already in the apartments.
Only one, and Grayhound, they will cement an 11-4 half. Fantastic stuff from them. The Aussies looking like they might have recovered here in this second map. It's been a much more one-sided affair. Do they have what it takes to keep this up heading into the second half, or do we see ViCi claw their way back into this game? Find out after a break.
(11-4) on the half for Grayhound. They got wrecked on their map pick, but they're looking to do the dirty back to ViCi here on Mirage. A map that has not been lost by this Chinese team throughout the entirety of this event, and now that may change unless the CT side can be just as stunning as it was on the previous. Fast A play for Grayhound up and through the Palace, and Kaze's down in the spawn. He's going to spot all of this push coming through. Grayhound have done this a lot. They take immediate CT control on these pistols and set up with a flashbang ready to get aggressive. This is their go-to. The question is, do ViCi know? Warman's already been caught in the spawn and dinked down to 7 points of health, so he'll double back to join his team, who are struggling to find kills up on this A site. Dexter with 1, and now the CT push coming back into the A site to get a couple more. It's just looking like a done deal for ViCi. A kill coming through for Advent, but too little, too late. 12 rounds to Grayhound as ViCi call the save.
And that puts Grayhound up 12-4. Pistol round secured and a chance to try and get ahead here. Look to close out this second map in a very dominant fashion. It's long as they are able to convert these rounds. We saw ViCi have a few issues when they ran into the pistols, etc. Now the question becomes, will Grayhound have the same problems? Tactical timeout called on in from ViCi, and I think justifiably so at this point. Right? This has been a map that's become a staple of this team at this event. We've seen it in every best of 3 that they've played, and they're undefeated on it.
So far, but that is definitely being called into question, Harry. 3 tactical pauses used now by ViCi, including this. Grayhound haven't even felt the need to touch theirs. I don't blame them at this kind of scoreline. Now, what do ViCi even do here? You've probably just got to play for that 3rd round by the half, go for a single eco, give Grayhound 13. But that's such a large comeback required.
One of the issues I'm really seeing now for ViCi, in spite of such a strong showing on Overpass, is if they falter here on Mirage with Dust 2 as that 3rd map, a map that even if you go back and you look at anyone in this squad, they've played at most, what, like 5 games of it in the last 3 months, and that's even individual players on each team. They've never been on teams that like to play Dust 2. So it's a pretty worrying sign of the times for ViCi. Cast out from the apartments, able to double down, and Malta in with another. Orman and Kaze all that remain, and they will get mocked up as Urcast padding those stats, putting up the numbers. Looking to catch up with Dexter, who was sitting top of the board. Now they tied both 21 frags apiece. 13-4 in favor of Grayhound. They're looking to try and take us to Dust 2. And if they manage to pick this round up, then the chances are they do take us there.
Yeah, that would be ViCi's money broken up against 14. So without a doubt, looking to be that way. This has to be the round for ViCi. But I mean, look at the buy. If you want to even call this a buy, no kits, only 4 smokes and a flashbang. They barely cobbled enough together here to hold back the forces of Grayhound. And considering how good their utility usage was back on Overpass in terms of flashing each other in, re-aggressing at the 40-second mark with smokes going down, this is not going to be what ViCi want to play with, especially not to deal with a B rush. No mollies here, and Grayhound going to be ready for it. Now the smoke going down for Freeman. He spots 3 or 4 players coming through. Dick Stacey charging in with a MAC-10, and they've already spotted the first bench player. Dick Stacey going to run on by to try and get into the market, and he will be able to do so. Freeman trying to get the kill, but Malta blindsides him. These MAC-10s are all Grayhound need. 3 kills from them. The rifle's not even making a difference in this round as that bomb plant comes in, and ViCi, they go and save.
That's all they can do. I mean, Kaze and Zoking, as good as they've looked, they've both undoubtedly slowed down in this map. Grayhound, they've sped up. That's the difference. They're rising to the occasion. They're not looking to go home. Rather not go home, but drop into that 3rd place minor playoff spot.
Yeah, and that will be tomorrow. It's approached very, very quickly, Harry.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much to even talk about there, right? Because heading into this, you know, after the first week when we'd seen the EU teams play, obviously you've got North coming in from the EU minor, then you've got Windstrike from the CIS minor. And one of these 2 teams going to be joining the mix. Plus, you know, later on we have Envy, I believe, versus Furia. So one of those guys is going to be hopping down, and that becomes a very stacked playoff indeed.
Grayhound are looking very, very hyped now. I mean, as you would at a 14-4 scoreline up against your opponent's map pick on a map that they have not had any trouble on throughout the entirety of this week. But yeah, you're definitely right, Harry. That minor playoff is looking stacked. So whoever does go through to it from this Asian region, certainly not going to have a free victory at all. Windstrike have had some really, really nice games. North have been, you know, great up until the end. But Grayhound, they don't want to go there. They want to get straight through and join Renegades here in that 2nd spot. Fast play up through Cat. It seems like Grayhound are just pugging this round. Look how split up these teams are. They have a man on every single bomb site. And right now it's just Kaze left alone. Grayhound are absolutely shredding their opposition. Nice shot from Kaze, but he's walking into a double setup, and Sterling's ready on the other side. 3 kills from him. Sterling's had a great map as well. 15-4, or 8 rather. 2 players on 20+ kills here for Grayhound. And so while it was the triple threat of Orman, Freeman, and Kaze over on Overpass, it's Sterling, Urcast, and Dexter rather, to make it work here on Mirage.
And this is one of the reasons why we figured this matchup was so interesting is these two teams almost kind of falling into similar archetypes, right? Both relying on two players to step one up, and then the rest of the guys, sure, they put up numbers, but they're more setting up their stars in amongst these teams. And it was really going to be a matter of who shows up. Is it going to be Urcast and Dexter, or Urcast and Malta, I guess, would be the three over on Grayhound? Or for ViCi, well, are we going to have a better showing from Kaze, Freeman, and Orman? First map, obviously, those were the three names we were looking towards throughout the entire match. But here on Mirage, it's been a fantastic showing from the troublesome twosome of Grayhound. Malta in with the trade there as they do lose Urcast. Advent and Freeman able to open things up at that B portion of the map. Zoking even going as far as to deny Dick Stacey presence inside of this bomb site, but Malta has been able to plug in those numbers. Sterling able to drop Zoking in connector, but now leaves himself in this 1-on-3. Orman will have no issue mopping up the last man, and ViCi in with a fifth, but they still have a long way to go if they want to make this comeback happen.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to bank on this happening when all it takes is one player to step up for Grayhound, and then the game is done. And we've had a lot of those individual highlights throughout this game for Grayhound. So 15-5. ViCi doing their best to get into this game on the CT half, and I think if they did start CT side, this would be a very different story. We know this team is very good at the CT side, but they just didn't have the room to do it, Harry. They went down 11-4, didn't win the pistol round, and the force buys were not really noteworthy, so they've been left in this spot. Another buy round coming in through from Grayhound, though, with the AWP. Still plenty of cash to play for these buys to shut it down before ViCi get too much of a foothold into this map, too much confidence or momentum. And they execute for Grayhound with Malta flanking down through that underpass. Could even throw the nades into B, try and give a bit of a fake here for Grayhound potentially, but smoke's going over. ViCi giving up the bomb site, playing for that retake. Advent's up in the spawn here with the AUG, and the smoke is going to cut off the line of sight from Kaze, but he'll go right through it. He loves to do that, and that's why Grayhound had thrown in the molly. Going to be very ready for the aggression. Shot through the smoke from Zoking, and the plant coming through here now for Grayhound. The flank all the way around from B on Malta, and Grayhound now a man down as his retake is on.
Dexter holding close to CT. Flash goes over, and he tries to peek. While ViCi are looking away, catches that first man, has Sterling to help out, and Urcast holding that smoke push, but Zoking still able to pick it up. It does fall onto Sterling. First shot found. We've seen him in this situation before, but this time not happening. Of course, I was thinking back to that Dust 2 ace that we saw from Sterling over towards short when he sent MVP home essentially single-handedly. Sadly, though, ViCi aren't keen on making that same mistake. 6-15, and it does feel like ViCi are starting to find their footing. Just the question for me now becomes, is it too little too late for ViCi in this map?
Up against 15, you have to think so, but let's take this round by round. Let's see, because nothing's impossible, as we learned from some of these teams in the Asian Minor. I think this has been probably my favorite region in terms of surprises and, not getting necessarily what we expected. That being said, there were a lot of upsets all minor round, especially over in the EU side of things, but fast A play for Grayhound. Flashbang's good. Advent, he can't find anything there. Fully blinded and committing to the spray. Dick Stacey will take him down. Zoking pushing through the Molotov in his face, but they're all throwing nades, and he finds a double kill. That's way more than you can ask for if you're Zoking. Dex is going to be able to trade back the man on top of the stairs, and ViCi maybe aggressing a little bit too early here, but Orman now has to make a play if he wants to keep this map alive. He's the only player within the bomb site. They will hear the Molotov, you would think, but Dex is going to be caught throwing more utility. This has come back to haunt Grayhound time and time again in this round. Smoke cutting off Sterling on the ramp. They tap the bomb to fake it out. Multi gives away his position, but he might be able to convert the spray, getting the kill to Freeman. And Orman now the last man alive for ViCi. He's stuck between a rock and a hard place, and Grayhound, they're going to be taking away their opponent's map pick. The first time ViCi have lost Mirage all tournament. It has been a staple for this Chinese roster.
Yeah, what a job from Grayhound. What a job to finally rise up and best ViCi on a map they were undefeated on, and what a timing for it. Now we go 1-1 in this series. Dust 2 coming up next. Grayhound, can they keep it going, or will ViCi rise to the occasion once more? Find out who takes this series and that major spot after the break.